So the San Antonio Spurs did something super crazy where they traded Jakob Poeltl for their Raptors pick. Again, it wasn't even guaranteed. I believe it was top 6 or something. The pick was going back to the Raptors. It was almost like the Spurs knew that luck was going to be on their side. 2 teams were going to skyrocket into the top 4, leaving the Spurs now with the Raptors pick, which is, of course, pick number 8. Again, not a bad return for Poeltl. You definitely will take that. Of course, now the trick is finding someone good enough to, of course, be used for that pick. And this is a tough draft. But we're going to be doing that today. I'm going to be looking at that. If you haven't checked out my official 2024 NBA mock draft, go and check that out. Link in the description down below. That's why if you're wondering why I didn't take a certain player here and there and whatnot, it may be because I've taken him with a higher pick to a different team. So go and check that out, which will be linked in the description down below. But I guess without further ado, let's get into who I think the Spurs should select with the 8th overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft. Now, moving on to the 8th overall pick, we have the San Antonio Spurs, who really lucked out in this draft, getting the 4th overall pick. Again, who I, of course, did have them selecting Nikola Topic. Again, there's a lot of people saying he's going to drop in the draft because he did his ACL and stuff. Turns out, he obviously did not do his ACL. In fact, he was pretty lucky, but escaped with, I think, minor injuries. He definitely will still go pretty high in this draft. At pick 8, though, they're going to be looking for another guy to bring in. I've got a bit more of a development guy, but of course, half this draft is pretty development, as we know. And I've actually got them selecting Ron Holland at pick 7. Again, some drafts have him at 6, some have him about 10. This is a guy who will take some time to develop, but has potential to be one of the best players out of this draft. Again, was, I believe, ranked the number 1 overall pick at one stage in this draft. It's being said he's one of the most well-rounded athletes in this whole entire class. He's fast, he's strong, and his vert is extremely good. He has the ideal frame for a wing in the NBA, being 6'8" with long arms and a ton of muscle. He's an elite scorer in transition. He gets down the court faster than anyone else, and he's good at finishing plays at high speeds. He's a solid mover off the ball, good cutter, and can fly around screens. Great driver, great finisher around the rim, and he's got very good perimeter defense. Again, some of the things that he's not good at. His shot creation can be a bit inconsistent. He can be slightly turnover prone, with his passing not exactly being the greatest, and he doesn't exactly have the best 3-point shot. A couple of comparisons, though, are Jaylen Brown. When Jaylen Brown first came into the NBA, his shooting was very streaky for the first couple of years, but you're looking at a dude who could essentially who was extremely athletic, very good defender, who could basically do everything but be the greatest shooter and greatest ball handler. Jaylen Brown is still not the greatest ball handler. There's always that meme, telling him to change hands and all this type of stuff, make him go left. When we're looking at this right now, right, Ron Holland is a guy that the Spurs have time to develop. They're looking for a ton of positions right now on that San Antonio Spurs team. We obviously know they've got their center filled out and their shooting guard, but those are really the only 2 main ones. They seem to really like Keldon Johnson off the bench. I'm hoping for them they bring Cedi Osman back. I felt like he was very good for them as well as a bench player and sometimes starter. But if you're looking for a point guard now, you got that Nikola Topic pick coming in. They might be looking for a small forward who is going to come in and play defense, which Ron Holland will definitely come in and do. And I think it just makes sense overall. We know the Spurs they're probably going to be rebuilding for another year or 2. It's probably going to be a lot more fast-tracked than a lot of other teams, though, just because Wembanyama is arguably a top 15, near top 10 player already in the league. That's just obvious, right? And then if you partner him with Topic, who is not only one of the best passers in the draft, but a guy who could be one of the best passers in the NBA straight away, you're looking at a team who's quite quickly going to run up and move up this draft ranks. The perfect thing I love about San Antonio that has gone super underrated as well, in my opinion, is they know their roles already. Even though they are one of the worst teams in the NBA, you see Greg Popovich already telling Keldon Johnson to come off that bench. The reason is because even though Keldon Johnson might be good enough to start, he knows eventually on this Spurs team, Keldon Johnson will be a 6-man in the NBA and will be an elite 6-man in the NBA. This has meant that he's left the small forward position open, he's left the power forward position open, and he's told his scouts to go and draft these guys because I've already got you a 6-man, I've got you the shooting guard, and I've got you the center. Go fill me out the rest of the starting 5. And that's what I think they're going to do with Ron Holland. I think they're going to look at him and just say, look, we need that small forward. We need a guy who has size, who has athletic, who can defend. Again, he might not be the greatest shot creator, but do San Antonio really need a shot creator right now? Again, you've got Wembanyama there. You've got Devin Vassell right there as well. And as mentioned before, Keldon Johnson off that bench. There's also a rumor going around that the Spurs could very look to trade in another contract or sign a guy to be a bench warmer. Well, not necessarily bench warmer, be a shot creator off the bench. Saying a bench warmer is a bit hard. And a bit harsh, I should say. But I did see someone say, and this is obviously not probably going to happen, but I saw someone say, like, if the Mavericks wanted to dump a guy like Tim Hardaway, who's on $18 million, who, you know, they might look to move him to free up some cap, right? Well, then the Spurs, they not only have cap, but are looking for a shot creator maybe off that bench instead of starting. That could be like the type of player. So I don't necessarily think they're going to be looking for a major shot creator straight away with this pick, and they're going to look for a dude that they can maybe develop, that can start at small forward, can play his role as a 3-and-D wing and just be a very good defender. And that's exactly what I think Ron Holland can do and accomplish for this San Antonio Spurs team. So I love this pick. I love both the picks that I've got them taking, which is of course Topic and, you know, Ron Holland. I think the fact is that the Spurs can automatically bring in now 2 extra starters while, let's just say, Trey Jones goes to that bench. You have Jones off the bench now, a full-time Keldon Johnson off that bench. Jetty Osman will be pretty much full-time off that bench if they bring him back. A lot of things are starting to look up for San Antonio, and I wouldn't be surprised if this rebuild was absolutely fast-tracked and they were competing for the playoffs in legitimately no time. So that's why, of course, I do have them selecting Ron Holland, of course, with the 8th overall pick. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Did you guys like this mock draft, or did you guys not? Who would you disagree with, and whatever it might be? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to the channel for all the latest NBA content, NBA news, draft content, all that type of stuff. And don't forget to subscribe to my IRL/vlog channel, gaming channels. All of them will, of course, be getting linked in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.